Yes, people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to my 31 day channel where I speak in front of the camera to get better and more confident. Today we're on day 8, so technically it starts a new week. For those of you who are brand new, my name's Enoch, and for those of you who are returning, as always, you know what it is. Appreciate you for being here. This week's videos, let's talk about it. So, as I said it multiple times last week, this week's video is going to be way more structured. So if you see me looking down at all in this video or any future videos, like it's because I probably got some notes here that obviously I want to guide you guys through, and it's going to help me stay on track in terms of like what I want to speak about in the videos. So what are we speaking about today? First of all, let me show you. So as you can see, my hands are tied right now. And there's a reason for this. You might be asking, like, why the hell have you got your hands tied? Before I tell you, what I need you to do is pause this video and then open a new tab, go into the previous videos and just hover over it. And obviously, it'll show you like a little preview of the video. And you see that my hands are very animated, which is not a problem, but we're going to discuss that into like today's videos. So I've been told by my little sister Elizabeth and other people that I'm a very animated speaker. And I never really used to, like, I knew that anyway, but through doing this video series over the first week, I've actually realized that's actually really true, which is not a bad thing. But we're going to discuss a few things about that today. So, makes sense why I've got my hands like this today. I'm going to try my hardest to keep them down, not to be animated. Yeah, and we'll see how well that goes. Yes, I know it's a bit extreme. Don't worry, like I know, but mind your own business. All right, cool. This is my challenge, my video. Let me be cool. So we're gonna be speaking about stage presence, speaking in front of the camera, and just overall, yeah, hand gestures and motions. So I'm gonna. A lot of people don't realize it, but when they're speaking to people, some people are animated, some people aren't animated, and that's fine. It just depends on like what kind of person you are. I think where you grew up, the kind of environment that you grew up in, so many different factors to what kind of communicator you are. Now, I'm a very animated communicator, and it's known that these people are known to be more friendly, or you feel more welcomed by these kind of people when you're speaking to them. You feel like a lot more energy. They get their point across a lot more than people who are more timid and don't aren't as animated, which it's not right or wrong to be either. It just depends on you, but there's a lot of things that can be taken away from like both sides. There's a lot of pros and cons for either side. So there's a professional communication coach that I follow on Instagram, and he speaks about different communication styles and when you're presenting like keynote speakers, when you're pitching, doing sales pitch and things like that. And he talks about the pros and cons of the experts and how they do it and how they present themselves in front of people. And one of the things that they do is something called baton gesturing, and all that is matching your actions with the rhythm of your voice. And I don't think subconsciously, no, I think subconsciously I do it a little bit, but there's still like a lot of improvements where I can actually match my actions with you know the tone of my voice or the rhythm of my voice, because a lot of the times it's the way I see it when I am throwing my hands around is I'm visually showing you and expressing what I'm saying, if that makes sense. Like there's a video when I was talking about how me and Shaq met, and I rewatched it, and I was talking about how the direction that he was coming in versus the direction I was coming in, and I was visually expressing that with my hands, and I was doing that subconsciously. But now, over the course of like learning about these extra things that you can do, I realized that's what I was doing. And I'd prefer someone to do that with me, because it just, I don't know, it feels better in the conversation. And that's how I personally feel. Some people don't, and that's completely fine. It's just down to your own preference. But that's definitely an area that I can work on consciously, especially in terms of the rooms and where I see myself in the future when I'm presenting certain things. And this is all in person, by the way. I mean, you can do it over the camera as well, but when I see the kind of rooms I'm going to be presenting in the future, this is definitely something I want to be making more conscious effort to do. So the whole baton gesturing thing, rather than throwing my hands in the air and being animated, having more control over the animation and how I'm actually animating my gestures along with what I'm saying and how I'm trying to communicate that to my audience. So he speaks about control power over uncontrolled power. And a lot of people who are animated or not conscious of their body language, they've got uncontrolled power. But once they take that in and realize, you know, about their body language, about their actions, then now, and they can use that correctly, it becomes control power. And that's way more influential and has a higher impact on what you're trying to say. So that's definitely something I want to take on board, especially when I'm doing these kind of like sit down, talking to the camera kind of videos. So that's definitely something I want to take on board, especially when I'm, become a keynote speaker at some point in life and I'm presenting, doing sales pitches and anything that involves trying to get your, point across to an audience. Slowing down your speech, tonality, difference in the tonality, all those things that can be incorporated within communication. And that's all, this is when we're speaking in front of camera, when we're speaking to someone, it's all communication. So definitely an area that I want to improve on. The next thing I want you to think about is, well, what we've been speaking about. Take a conscious effort now when the next time you speak to someone or the next time you're in a group setting, just have a look at how people communicate, the body language, how they speak, how they communicate, how they trying to get their point across, how influential, how impactful is that to you when they're speaking to an audience, when they're speaking direct to yourself, or even just like when you're around. Like I people watch. I can't lie. Like I people watch, and I just watch, the interactions and the body language and things like that. And it's actually intriguing when you're studying all these little behavioral patterns, just to see how different people react and how different people communicate. It's actually, yeah, it's something. So yeah, how do you feel about that? Do you prefer someone who's more animated? Do you prefer watching videos where someone is still and calm? Do you prefer watching videos where someone is, you know, visually communicating what they're saying? Do you prefer a mix? What kind of person are you? Like, do you even realize that you're throwing your hands about in a uncontrolled fashion? Are you more expressive when you're speaking? Do you realize, and are you conscious of doing that already? There's so many different things that we don't realize about ourselves. There's so many different things that we don't realize about ourselves, and it's always good just to reflect. And if you want to improve, listen, you can improve. If you don't want to improve, that's down to you. If you think there's nothing wrong with it, that's down to you as well. But yeah, it's always good just to reflect and just see these little nuances of how we behave, to the point where you start to wonder and think, where do you even pick these things up from? And a lot of the digging I've done when my little sister like brought it up, I started double guessing, like, where have I picked this up from? Because for years, like, I never even knew. Like, I knew I was doing it, but not consciously, subconsciously, sorry. And then I was speaking to my little sister about it and really realized that my mom does it a lot as well. Like she's very animated when she's speaking, I'm probably more. There's no way that's 10 minutes. Yo, All right, cool. 10 minutes. Unfortunately, we didn't get to the end of what we wanted to speak about, but we'll pick this up tomorrow, which is perfect because it gives us something to pick us up from tomorrow. Yeah, interesting topic, but as I say, takeaways from today. The next time you speak to someone, just see how they speak, see how animated they are, how animated you are, and yeah, we'll pick this up tomorrow. If you enjoyed today's video, obviously like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for being here. As always, peace, love. See you on the next page.